It would be truly beneficial and profoundly good if all of us were taught from our earliest childhood, from the very moment we initially started first grade, at least from that significant time, how to effectively deal with ourselves, how to properly manage our emotions, and how not to inadvertently harm ourselves in any way. Our society is complicated, and in fact we end up learning how to harm ourselves. But not harming ourselves, that's already sacred knowledge. Who is going to feed you sacred knowledge? These sacred teachings are precisely what is hidden from the people, kept far away and deep. What exactly is sacred about them? People don't really know what life is. And since we don't really know, and by people, I mean all of us, not some special group, but all of us. Do you think the oligarchs know? Well, those who are wealthier, of course, get taught. Their children, of course, are taught from childhood. And the middle class goes to the same schools as you and I do. You've been made to believe that Russia is the best country with the strongest education system. That's not true. It's absolutely not true. You have nothing to compare it to, so you think Russia has the best education. Or you come to the West, to Western countries, already as an adult, and again, you still don't understand what a better education is. But today we're not talking about education. Today we're going to talk about the soul. Let's talk about the soul. What is your soul like? Look, we make choices every day in our lives. Every day, small actions. We don't even notice these small actions. Isn't that right? Tell me, do you notice these small actions? No, you don't notice them. A cat is walking down the road, meowing, wanting to eat. She has kittens waiting for her somewhere. Did you feed her? Did you give her something? Did you go into the first shop you saw and buy her a piece of sausage? And why do you think you can't buy a piece of sausage for a cat with your own money? Why? Is it because she's not related to you? Because she's not your pet cat? But she's alive, isn't she? Come on, how can you just kick her, leave her, and walk by? Did you know that in Turkey people there are more warm-hearted? Even though you say we're all so soulful and warm-hearted. Well, in Turkey, on the streets, in the city, there are bowls of water and also vending machines for cat food. The stray dogs that roam the streets, the local residents who live in houses put out bowls of food for them. I've seen it myself. I drove onto one street. It was a small boutique. I went in there and I was surprised. Really? Along the road there are bowls, big bowls, basins filled with water. Clean, not dirty like in Russia. No, they're clean. And there are also basins with dry food. Yes, of course, you can feed your pet cat or dog any respectable food. But these are strays, and who is going to cook for them? So they eat whatever at least you give them, or what God sends their way. You are like God to them, you see? And you need to feel this moment. You are God to them. And then you just kick them with your foot and walk away. But you are God to the cat and the dog. And tomorrow you pray to God and ask the Lord to help you. You want a business, a house, a bed. I don't know, maybe to help a sick child. But if you kicked a cat or a dog, if on a hot day you didn't put out a bowl of food or water, do you think the Lord will help you? Tell me, do you think the Lord will help you? And then you'll grumble and complain, saying, the Lord doesn't help me. But why should he? You were put in the position of the Lord in relation to an animal, your little brother, to a cat or a dog. Did you help? No. And yet you want the Lord to help you? Then when you ask for, because you're small and he's up there, big, sitting in the heavens. But he watched and saw how you kicked the cat and the dog. You didn't help. So what's the point in helping you? Who are you then? No, you're not worthy. Do you understand? So what's the moral here? It's clear, isn't it? That's why each of us lives through exactly what we deserve. Sometimes I develop routes and paths for people, places where they can live. Because you can find shelter anywhere there. Even though there will soon be bombings in Europe and especially in Ukraine, you can still find shelter anywhere. But for that, you also need to think about yourself. Think about yourself. That is, are you worthy of being sheltered? Of course, it's not up to me to decide. Come on, really. I calculate, I look at where it's possible and where it's not. By the way, it's a very difficult job. And people truly think they're worthy of themselves indeed. If you didn't kick the cat but fed it instead, but you walked past something else and treated it just as coldly, how is that? It's perceived exactly the same way. That's why every step we take, my friends, that's what I'm talking about. Every step we take in our lives affects our requests to God, our requests to ourselves, our efforts, our lives. All of this affects your illnesses and your lifespan. Illnesses, where do they come from? Well, we won't talk about food right now, although it's actually food, yes. The meat you devour, that's the cause of your illnesses, is the main factor behind your illnesses. The main meat you eat. You eat carrion, not just one animal. Large, noble, somewhat thoughtful animals like lions, they don't eat carrion. How can you believe those stories about bears, where a person lies down and pretends to be dead? The bear sniffs and walks away. But that's only in fairy tales. The bear can see that the person is alive, not dead. But that's the point of the fairy tale. It's meant to show that bears don't eat carrion. So why do people eat it? Tell me. After all, that's your illness. Halal or not halal. Why are you lying to yourselves? Tell me. It's still carrion all the same. Why do you feed yourselves carrion? Why are you deceiving yourselves? So friends, this is the situation. We really need to turn our thinking around 180 degrees and start thinking differently, in the right direction. We simply weren't taught to think properly. We weren't taught to make the right decisions, because from the very beginning, our knowledge was wrong. From the very beginning, we don't know what, how, or why. So first and foremost, give up meat, so that animals who think and go to slaughter with tears in their eyes are not killed around you. Give up killing animals. Maybe then your children won't be killed either. What do you think? It's a very serious question with far-reaching consequences. Write to me and we'll talk. And I think this topic is so important. It's important specifically for your health and longevity. This is what Putin has now promised to Xi Jinping and kind of hooked him with it. For 150 years of life. And then Putin decided to advertise this among Russian oligarchs and officials. But this has nothing to do with Putin. It concerns the Chinese. The Chinese, yes, they eat whatever they want. But do you know how the highest immortals feed themselves? No. Then why point at the Chinese?